This is part 2 of our accessibility audit series. In part 1, we broke down the 5 core steps that professional teams use to plan and structure accessibility audits. Today, there's no more theory. In this video, we are going to apply those exact foundations and perform a real end-to-end accessibility audit. You will see how each step actually shows up in practice, from defining scope to selecting our tools and assistive technologies to validating real user flows. This is what most people never get to see. It's not a checklist walkthrough, not a tool demo, but a real audit executed by a professional with 15 years of experience. Before I test anything, I'm doing the most important step of the audit. I'm defining the scope. Remember from part 1, we don't audit pages. We audit unique templates. The Flipkart site may look large, but once I map it out, I can already see repeated structures, navigation, product listing, product detail pages, forms, and checkout flows. So instead of wasting time auditing everything, I'm identifying the core templates that power the entire experience. Because if a component fails in any of these templates, it fails everywhere it's reused. This is how professional audit stays efficient and manageable. So today, we will audit electronics product page and women's kurtas and kurtis, because these are 2 different templates. Now that the scope is defined, the next decision is how we test. This is where many audits quietly go wrong. Testing every browser, every operating system, and every screen reader does not make your audit stronger. It wastes your time, energy, and money. So I'm defining a testing matrix based on real-world usage. For this audit, I'm using Windows 11, Chrome browser, XDevTools, Andy, manual keyboard testing, and screen reader, JAWS 2026. Your best bet is to use your analytics to find out what your users are actually using. Your analytics will tell you which operating system they are using, which browser they are using the most. Assistive technology usage is not yet recorded for fairness, so we rely on Web AIM survey data. I'll put that link in the description. Remember, the goal is not to test everything. The goal is to test intentionally. With scope defined, now we move from structure to real user behavior. Because accessibility is not about pages. It's about whether a real user can complete a task. So before I run tools, I define the most critical user flows. For example, finding a product, reviewing details, adding it to the cart, and completing checkout is going to be our flow for the audit. This flow will cross different templates, states, and dynamic content, which is exactly where accessibility issues hide. Remember, a page can look compliant in isolation and still completely fail in a real journey. That's why audits that skip user flows often miss the most critical paths. Now is the time we perform the actual testing. And I always start with what I call a litmus test. We run XDevTools on these 2 pages and look at the number of issues it identifies. If we see more than 10 issues per page, that tells us that basic accessibility was never tested. And if the basics are broken, core functionality will be broken too. So we pause and we align with developers before investing time further. Okay, so our first step is to do our litmus test. Right click, go to inspect, and let's go for XDevTools. And on this page, I'm gonna do a full page scan. But before we do that, let's make sure that we are in the desktop view and not the tablet view. Let's go ahead and click on the full page scan and see how many accessibility issues are there on this electronics homepage. Wow. We have 131 accessibility issues identified by XDevTools. Among these, we have 23 which are critical, 70 that are serious, and 38 that are moderate. As I said, if there are more than 10 accessibility issues identified by XDevTools, that gives me an indication that your dev team has never considered accessibility. In this case, we are getting 131. And if you are new to XDevTools, watch this video on how to use XDevTools what each success criteria means, and how it offers capabilities to fix it. To give you a quick walkthrough, I'll click on critical issues and then I'll select the very first one and click on the highlight button. It highlights the button which is having the issue. In this case, it says buttons must have discernible text, which means it's missing either the ARIA label or the accessible name is missing. See, it's just a button with the type submit. So it is not having a visible label for it. And it is offering you help that you can use ARIA label or ARIA labeled by. You can find more details in this video. Let's go to women's kurtas and kurtis because that's a different template that I have chosen. And let's do the same XDev tool on this page. Right click, go to inspect. Let's go to XDev tools and click on full page scan. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Let's see how many issues we get. Wow, we have 504 accessibility issues identified by XDev tools. Now you tell me honestly, if there are so many accessibility issues on a page, what impressions do you get about this website? To me, this looks like completely broken for accessibility. I can't even imagine a real person with disability going through these pages. Let's go back to this page and see if Andy works on this website or not. Wow, they have blocked Andy on this website, which means we have to test everything manually now. Andy actually helps us identify the language of the page, how many landmarks are there in the application, what are the heading list levels, how many lists are there, is there any dependency on CSS only. Those are the checks that we have to do manually now. Let's click outside or OK. This goes to the FAQ page. Let's close this and come back here. Let's go ahead and test the very first thing that the user encounters when they open a page, and that's the language of the page. I'm going to right click and go to inspect. At the HTML tag level, they have provided language equals to EN. That's a 2-letter code for language English, and they have done it rightly so. Full points on providing language English as a natural language for this page. It helps a screen reader pronounce in the right way. Next, we are going to check for the title of the page. So under head tag, I'm going to search for title. So I found a title tag. It says Electronics Republic Day Sale, DT Store Online, Buy Electronic Products Day Sale, DT Online, Best Price in India, Flipkart.com. Titles are the first thing that a screen reader hears when they open up a new page. We need to ensure that your title is accurate and as close as possible to the main heading of the page. Now, if I mouse over on this tab, you will see there's a tooltip which appears and the same title is being displayed there. And if I go into the right side and look into the main heading, Republic Day Sale Live Now, Electronics Store. This is the main heading and we are able to get the context from the title itself. It can be improved and I will mark this as an observation. Not a failure, but a good observation to make the user experience better. At the structure level, how many headings are there on the page, how many list items are there on the page, and how many live regions, that's something that we cannot do with a keyboard only. For that, we have to make use of screen reader and a keyboard. And that's something that we'll cover when we are into the screen reader testing part of it. Let's go ahead and test for buy kurtas and kurtis. I'm gonna inspect, go to the element side, double check that the language is English, which is right. Under the head tag, search for title. It says buy kurtis and kurtas for women at best price on top brands Flipkart. So let's try to find the main heading on this page, which I don't see. Let me see if it's because of the space that I have. No, it's missing. So main heading on this page seems to be missing. If I mouse over this tab, I see the same tooltip as that of the title tag. So we are fine here. Post this point, we have to jump into our keyboard testing to check what is the tabbing or the focus order, whether the actionable and visible elements are in the right tabbing order or not. Is there anything which is getting skipped or not? Is there a mechanism for users to skip the top navigation? We call it bypass content or bypass blocks of content. That's something that we're going to do next. Let's go back to the electronics products page. Let's close this out. And as a best practice, always refresh your page and only use your keyboard to navigate further. And so that you understand which keyboard key I'm pressing, you will see a small yellow pop-up giving an indication which key I pressed. Keep focus under the baby and kids menu. I'm going to refresh my page now. And from this point onwards, it's going to be purely keyboard. So I'm going to tab. I pressed tab once. I'm not sure where my focus is. I tabbed again. I'm still not sure. As you can see, on this tab or the previous tab, I believe, we got to know where our focus was. But if I do shift tab again, technically, the focus is going on Flipkart Explore Plus image on the left side. However, visually, we are not seeing any focus ring. So that's a violation that you must report. Also, the very first item that should be in the focus order should be your skip to main content link, which is missing on this page. So I'm going to shift tab again. We don't see that. And that's your violation as well, because we need to provide a mechanism to bypass the repeated content on the page. What I meant by that is, when you provide skip to main content link and if you press enter on it, it will skip all this content at the top of your application. It will skip your primary navigation, then the secondary. It should reach directly to the first item on the page. So that skip to main content is missing. So we have two issues identified so far. Skip to main content is missing. Your focus ring is missing for Flipkart Explore Plus. I'm going to start tabbing again. Now it went into this text box. I'm going to tab again. Now we see that focus ring, giving me a good indication where my current focus is. I'm going to continue tabbing. My focus is lost again. Let's tab one more time. I'm still unable to find. Tabbing again, again. My page scrolled. I don't know where my focus is. And that's the reason I said, if it is failing our litmus test, the other checks that we are about to test are bound to fail. And this is the perfect example because there were around 130 on this page, if I recall correctly. And that's the reason it's failing. I'm not able to see any focus ring. And the only focus that we got was for the search one. So everything, your main navigation and the secondary navigation, which has all your products, they are not in the tabbing order. So how do you expect a person who is using keyboard only to come to your website and buy products from you? It's not only compliance failure, you are losing revenue because of this. And if someone from Flipkart is watching this video, share it with your senior leadership because you are losing money. Let's go and check for buy kurtas and kurtis. I'm going to close this. There were around 500 accessibility issues from XDevTools. I'm going to refresh this page. I'm going to simply start tabbing. Again, the same issue. The focus is not going to Flipkart Explore Plus. Now it went into the search bar and it highlighted kurtas and kurtis. Tabbed again, search icon, tab again. My focus is lost. Focus lost means revenue lost. A keyboard user cannot buy a product from this website. Let's continue testing and test the filter section on the left side and see if a keyboard user can interact with it or not. So I'm going to put my focus on the filters heading and then start tabbing. Now, filter section is also not in the tabbing order. I'm tabbing multiple times. Let me try clicking on this minimum drop down and let me press escape to close it. So pressing the escape key actually close the drop down. If I press spacebar key again, it is opening. However, I'm unable to know where my focus is. Again, the same challenge. Let me press tab. I'm assuming my focus is on 1000 plus rupees drop down. And if I press down arrow key, it is opening. So if I use up arrow key to use, and if I press up arrow key to move through the options, I'm able to. And if I press enter key to make a selection, it is making the selection and our page is loading accordingly. So as you saw, the options on the right side, the products on the right side are reflecting the change that we just made. Now, the other interesting thing is because our page refreshed, my understanding is the only right side has been modified. We need to test for the focus management, where my focus is right now. As we know, there is no focus ring, visible focus ring on in this application. If I try pressing tab, let's see where my focus goes. My assumption is it should go to the brand accordion, which is in the collapsed state. If I press enter, it should expand. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Because I'm not sure where my focus was. And this is called lost focus. And this is a very poor focus management. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna simply click on this minimum drop down, press escape key, press tab, or let's do shift tab and see if this slider is accessible or not. So I'm assuming my focus is on the slider, and with the slider you must be able to use your left and right arrow keys to change the value. So I'm going to use left arrow key. Nothing happens. Again, nothing. I'm completely lost. Now the only thing that I would like to test is the top search bar. If I delete kurtas and kurtis and go for top for women and use the down arrow key to make a selection and press enter, that functionality is working. Now again, looking at the focus management, if I press tab, since there is no focus, the focus outer ring, I am not clear where my focus is. And if I have to interact with these tab panels, let me click on relevance. And with tab panels, you can use left or right arrow keys to change the selection. So let's see if it does. It's not changing the selection. If I press tab, I'm gonna press enter. It opens something which I'm completely unaware of. So it opened the product for me. Maybe my focus went into the product itself. To be very honest, I'm very disappointed with the accessibility of Flipkart application. The next check that we can do with the keyboard is by turning on our screen reader. And for that, we are going to use JAWS 2026. So I have turned on my JAWS 2026, which is the latest version offered by Freedom Scientific or Vispera. The very first feature that we are going to try today is the AI-powered solution that they have, which summarizes the entire page. So I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut to enable the page summary. So let's go ahead and do that. And the shortcut for that is insert shift and E.
Starting page explorer. FS companion dialog. FS companion dialog. FS companion. Page summary 1. Layout. Bullet. The page has a top horizontal navigation bar with links for login, becoming a seller, cart, and main product categories like electronics, men, women, etc.
I press Ctrl key to stop JAWS. Continue reading the entire section. Let's continue and explore the page summary. At number 1, it says layout. The page has a top horizontal navigation bar with links for login, becoming a seller, cart, and main product categories like electronics, men, women, etc. This is critical information. Below the top navigation is a search bar with the product search input and buttons. I'm going to move this slightly on the right side so that we can verify and review that the information that we are getting is accurate or not. So we have the top navigation with the horizontal navigation bar with links for login, becoming a seller, cart, and main product categories like electronics, men, women, etc. It says below the top navigation is a search bar with the product search input and button. Actually, it's part of the top navigation. It's not below the top navigation. Next, we have the left side contains a vertical filter panel with multiple collapsible sections for filtering by price, brand, gender, discount, and much more, which I believe is an accurate representation of what we have on the page. Then it says the main content area on the right side displays product listings for women's kurtas and kurtis, including images, brand names, product titles, colors, prices. This is again a critical information for a screen reader user. We're actually providing them a summary of the entire page, like on which segment they can find which particular component. So it spoke about the main navigation or the top navigation. It spoke about the search text box. Even though it said below the top navigation, it was part of the top navigation. But again, good enough information. And it says there are filter sections on the left side. Again, a very good information for a screen reader user to have. And finally, it said there are products on the right side. With what kind of description does it have? It has images, name, prices, size, discount if applicable, what fabric they have used, and what colors they have provided. Again, a very useful information for a screen reader user. Let's continue scrolling. It says content summary. This page is an online shopping catalog focused on women's kurtas and kurtes, offering product listings with filtering options and detailed product information. Again, a good information for a screen reader user to understand the overall context of this page. At headings level, they have level 2 and level 3. Good information so that I'm not wondering where my H1 is. So rather than doing H1, I'll do H2 when I'm jumping from one heading to another. And it also represents, it marks the major sections like women's kurtas price list, related searches, trending searches, and explore the world of latest kurtis for women. Please note, everything that this page explorer or page summary was able to generate was by reading the actual HTML. So the onus of making or building an accessible solution using the right HTML semantics and ARIA attributes still lies with the developer. This is just a representation of what you have used to build. If H1 is missing, it will be noticed. And that's the reason under heading it says level 2 and 3 are present. Let's continue. We have landmark regions. It says there is a main navigation region for pagination links and a content info region for footer content. It does not talk about the top navigation. It does not talk about the side sections that we have. It directly talks about the pagination links and the footer section at the bottom. It further talks about the filters panel on the left side and how we can access all the links using the insert F7 for quick navigation. I have done a detailed video on how you can use this page summary from JAWS 2026. I'll put the link in the description. Do watch it. Let's continue. Scroll down. We have login. It says become a seller. We have cart, women's kurtas. I'm wondering what these electronics, TVs, and appliances, the main menu section that you see, what are those coded as? So I'm going to close this now.
7.
I'm going to quickly inspect electronics because this is an actionable element. Either it should have been a button or a link. So let me take you to the top of the page and see what we are inspecting. That's electronics. And then, so it's just a span tag and an SVG. So they have not coded it as a button or a link. And that's the reason it was not part of the summary that we were looking at. Again, a major violation to report. And this could be the reason that our tabbing was not working. When we were tabbing, these menu items were not in the tabbing order. And this is the culprit because they are not coded to be in the tabbing order. I'm going to close this now. I'm going to the top of the page using my keypad. I'm going to refresh the page and I'm going to take the conventional route of testing a website because not everyone is using the latest JAWS 2026. Some of them are still on 2025 and older versions. And this approach also works when you're using NVDA as your screen reader. So let's go ahead and refresh this page.
F5. Buy Curtis and Curtis for women at best price on top brand stash flip per document. Page has 2 regions, 7 headings, and 171 links. There are 5 smart glance highlights on this page. F5.
As I just refresh this page, the very first thing that gets announced is the page title. And the page title is the most critical thing. That's how a user knows on which tab they are currently on. And your page title must be as close as possible to the main heading of your page. Post the main title, it announced how many regions are there, how many headings are there, how many lists are there. These contribute to the overall structure of the page. And by default, a screen reader is in the browse mode, which means it will read the entire content unless you press Ctrl key to stop it from reading. And that's what I did. I pressed the Ctrl key to stop it from further reading the entire page. I have covered the differences between the browse mode and the focus mode in this video. Do watch it and let me know if you still have doubts. Next, we are gonna use the common keyboard keys used in an audit. We start with the H keyboard key. H for heading, to jump from one heading to another. So let's go and press H.
Related searches heading level 2.
It took me directly to the related searches. I'm gonna do Shift H and see what is the previous heading on this page.
Wrapping to bottom. Question and answers heading level 2.
It says wrapping to bottom and took me to the question and answers. I'm going to do Shift H again.
Accessories heading level 3.
And if you recall, the page summary said there are only H2s and H3. So I'm going to use Shift H2 to go to the previous heading.
Curtis and Curtis related searches heading Curtis trending searches heading related searches heading no prior headings at level 2 in this section.
It says no prior heading level 2 on this page, which means this heading showing 1 of 40 of 12,900 results is not marked as H2. If I do Shift H3,
rapid question and answers heading shop by category, explore the world of no prior headings at level 3, shop accessory, no more headings at level.
Well, surprisingly, that is not marked as a heading. So if I have to inspect this,
move through items, leaving dev tool level 10.
These minor issues could have been easily identified if Andy was enabled. So I'm looking into this. So far it is a span. Let me expand this.
Less span, less equal.
To our surprise, it's not coded as a heading. And that's the reason we were not able to use a shortcut key H to reach to showing 1 of 40. Because it is not a heading. At this point, I'm not even surprised that we are getting so many violations. Because we saw with a simple X scan, there were 100 or maybe 500 issues on this page. That gives us a good indication that we are going to get into a real mess when performing the full audit. And again, this is a violation to be reported. I'm going to close this. So to give you an idea, pressing H, you go from one heading to another. And if you do Shift H, you move backwards. And if you have to jump from H2 to H2 only, you use a combination of H plus number 2 key, or H plus 3 if you want to jump from one heading in level 3 to another heading level 3. Next, we have regions. For regions, we use R. I'm going to press R keyboard key.
Region.
It simply says navigation region. But what region? Is it main menu? Is it secondary menu? Or is it pagination? So that's a violation that you must report. I'm going to press R again.
Heading level 2 related searches, content information.
Now related searches is marked as a region. I'm not sure why.
Jumping to top, navigation region.
It says navigation, wrapping to top navigation region. So directly it is taking us to the page 1 of 323, the pagination. And that's what the page summary, if you recall, pointed out, that there is a main navigation at the pagination level, not at the container level. So technically, they have marked only 2 navigation or landmarks on this page. Again, a major violation to be reported. You must have your header at the top, followed by the primary navigation using ARIA labels, provide unique names to navigations. Then you have secondary navigation at the top. If I scroll to the top here, you have that blue bar, which is your header. Then you have main navigation. Then you have search, which should also be marked as a region. Then you have your secondary navigation, followed by your aside, which is your filter section on the left side. And then you have your main section on the right side. So a lot of challenges when it comes to the landmarks. The next critical thing that we would do is to test for links and buttons. So now I'm going to press U for unvisited links. and see how many links we've identified.
Link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4,
It's going over the pagination that we have.
link 5, link 6, link 7, link 8, link 9, link 10, link next, link Curtis, link women's ethnic set, link women's leg, link women's dresses.
And in case you're wondering how to see the entire list of all links at the same time, the shortcut key is Insert F7.
Links list view, women's.
Now, when you press Insert F7, it provides us a window or a dialog box listing out all the links present on this page. And you can use your up-down arrow keys to go from one link to another. And if you press Enter, it should directly trigger that element. This is why we say our link text should be descriptive enough so that a user can understand without the additional content needed on the site. So, for example, women ethnic sets is clear enough. Women's leggings and chudidars is also clear enough. The challenge comes when it says read more, click here. Let's see if we have such kind of links on this page or not.
6, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 9, 1, 9, 377, 1,000 women embroidered, self-designed, P/7, 350 women embroidered biscuits, rayon, A dash.
Now look at this link. Is it descriptive enough? Is it gonna help a screen reader user understand if they interact with this link, where they are gonna land on? This is we must avoid. And for you as a tester, you must log a bug for this. And as you can see on this window, there are other options, like if you want to select only the visited links or the unvisited links, and then you can sort links in the tab order or alphabetically. To interact, you can simply press tab to come out of it. Go over the different elements on this within this model.
Move the link button.
Let's close this window. Similar to this window that we just saw for links, we have for headings, and the shortcut for that is Insert F6. So I'm going to press that.
Headings list view, related search.
So it lists out all the headings on this page. We have related searches, trending searches at level 2. You have shop by category at 3. So this is what a screen reader can assist you to identify how many headings are there on the page, how many links are there on the page, whether those headings and links are meaningful or not, whether the heading hierarchy is correct or not. I'm going to close this one now.
Escape to active.
The next thing that we can test are the images on this page. So I'm going to press G for graphics. Next, let's test the graphics on this page. And to do that, I'm going to go to the top of the page. Let's refresh. I'll say F5.
5,
I press Control key to stop it from further reading. I'm going to press G for graphic.
Flipkart link graphic.
It says Flipkart link graphic, and that's talking about the top Flipkart icon that we see. I'm going to press G again.
P/072116 at 47 link graphic.
Was that meaningful? Not to me.
P/91C2C5C28F446 link graphic.
Again, not meaningful. They should have provided meaningful alternate text, and I believe this is for marking this particular product as favorite. I'm going to press enter if it's going to make a selection or not.
Enter by Curtis and Curtis for women.
It actually opens up the page rather than marking it as favorite. So both functionalities are breaking. Your meaningful alternate text is not provided for the images. Secondly, the functionality should be making it as favorite, which was not done correctly. It opened up a page for us. Let's go back to the previous page.
By
I'm going to continue pressing G.
P/5426 BC350.
Instead of describing the actual product, our focus is going to the heart icon, which gives me an indication those images that we are looking at are marked as decorative. And let's go ahead and check it out. I'm going to right click, inspect.
Leaving menu text. Level 6.
Look at this. Alt text is marked as empty, making the actual product decorative. And how would you expect a screen reader user to understand what the product is all about? We should mark this as a violation. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to press T to see if there are any tables on this page or not.
There are no tables on this page.
I'm going to do Shift T.
There are no tables on this page.
Okay, so we do not have any tables on this page. Let's go and check visually, we see anything that's looking like a table but is not marked as a table. So far we are good. I don't see anything marked as table. Let's go to the top.
To enjoy a classy of
Now, because we have a filter section on the left side and there are different form elements being used, let's press B or F to go to those form elements. I'm going to press F first.
top, search for products, brands and more edit. Curtis, search for products, brands and more.
So we were able to go to the top of the page, which is our search section. I'm going to press F again.
Unlabeled one button, combo box collapsed, mid. The combo box collapsed, Indian rupee sign 700.
Oh, I'm going to do Shift F. That there's something interesting I heard.
Combo box collapsed, mid.
It says ... combo box collapsed min. So it's missing a clear accessible name. So it should have given some price, minimum, and then talk about what this combo box is all about. I'm going to press F again.
Combo box collapsed, Indian rupee sign 700.
It says combo box collapsed and then the actual value, but no accessible name is provided. Let's press F again.
Rank at the top, search for products, brands and more edit. Curtis, search for products.
So it's going to the top. I'm going to expand the left navigation a bit and see if there are any other options. And I'm going to press F again to see if we are able to go within the expanded section.
Labeled one button, F.
Oh, because I'm within the text box, it's
F. Escape, search escape. Unlabeled one button. By Curtis and Curtis.
I'm going to press F now.
Search for products, brands and more. Unlabeled one button. Combo. The combo box. Search brand edit. Lang.
Now we are able to go into the brand segment, and which is technically correct. This is how it should behave, because you should only be able to focus on the elements which are in the visible state, not when they are in the collapsed state. So I'm going to press F again.
Search for products, brands and more. Edit. Curtis, search for products, brands and more.
Our focus didn't go to the checkbox, right, when I pressed F, which is strange, and it should be marked as a violation. Now, because my focus is on kurtas and kurtis, let's go ahead and test one of the use cases. Our use case was to find a product, review the product details, add it to cart, and check out. So since we are on the search text box, I'm going to press enter to interact with it. I'm going to say Control A to delete. I'm going to search for men t-shirts, and I'm going to use the down arrow key. Let's go with full sleeves.
By Curtis for women at best price on top brands flip per document.
Now our page got loaded, but it did not announce how many results are being displayed. So as a screen reader user, I have no clue of how many products were listed. But again, we know this website is not accessible. Let's go further and test it out. I would have used a keyboard key to jump directly showing 1 of 40, but we know it's not coded for accessibility and is not under heading level 2 or 1. Technically, it should have been 1. And because I know if I press G, it's going to take me to the heart icon, I'm going to use that mechanism to reach the first product. So let's press G.
Link graphic. Spoil texture. P/900 1000.
Now at this point onwards, I'm going to use the down arrow key.
SD. Link men printed. Topography round neck polyester gray T-shy ... men printed. Topography round neck polyester gray.
So it's announcing the brand name Caspi, and then it says men printed and the other values. Let's continue using the down arrow key.
Indian rupee sign 178. Indian rupee sign. Strike through 499 and strike through 64% off.
I believe we are fine so far. It is announcing what is the current price and what is the strike through value, like 499 strike through wins. This is good information. I'm going to use the down arrow key again. It says hot deal. So if I have to get into the details of this particular product, I will do Shift G. Because if you recall a moment ago when I pressed enter on this heart icon, it opened up a product for us. So let's do that.
Enter. Men t-shirts full sleeve dash by products online at best price in India.
Now we are on the product detail page and it announced the page title. Now let's see if I can use H or any other keyboard combination to read through the details of this particular product and access the add to cart button. So let's press H first.
Page.
Nothing happens. I'm going to click somewhere outside.
Page.
Let's try Shift H.
Page.
Nothing happens. I'm going to press Tab.
Castly printed. Topography men round neck grade.
Let's press Shift H one more time.
Castly men printed. Topography round neck polyester gray T-dash shirt heading level 1.
Now it says heading level 1 for Kashpi, which is usually incorrect. That's your eyebrow. We usually have such things marked as paragraphs. Your main heading should be men printed, typography, round neck polyester, gray t-shirt. I'm going to press H to see if that is marked as heading or not.
Ranking the top. Castly men printed. Topography round neck polyester gray T-dash shirt heading level 1.
I'm not sure where it is getting that value. I'm going to use down arrow key. So it is announcing the entire section as heading 1. Let's quickly inspect it and see what is marked as heading.
Context menu. The navigate. Leaving menus. Cast dev tool. Level 11. List span.
So the entire section is marked as heading, which is fine.
Main toolbar navigation.
Now if I press tab from this point onwards,
printed. Topography men round neck gray T-dash shirt dash by Castly printed. Topography men round neck gray T-dash shirt online at best prices in India vertical bar flipkart.com. 5/LS-FS-RPC-P-3-1136-Castly-original-image 9PC-NMFJ9W. Link graphic. To activate, press enter.
at any point did you realize that it's not clarifying to me like whether it's green or black? I'm just hearing it's gray t-shirt, nothing else. Let's go on to the yellow version of it.
A/5/original-image 69GN7B link graphic. To activate, press enter.
Again, no information. So how do I know whether I'm choosing between gray or yellow? Again, a clear violation that you must report. Now let's try to reach to the add to cart button.
B/M.
I'm going to use B.
List 7 more offers button. Rate product button. Post your question button. Add 3 items to cart button.
It says add 3 items to cart. Maybe I've already selected. Oh, these are the frequently bought together. And I believe it's on the left side. So I'm going to do Shift B.
Post your question button. Rate product button. List 7 more offer. Buy now button.
We are on buy now button.
Add to cart button.
It says add to cart button. I'm going to press enter.
Enter list with 2 items. Go into cart button. To activate, press enter. Castly printed. Topography men round neck gray T-dash shirt dash by Castly printed. Topography men round neck gray T-dash shirt online at best prices in India vertical bar flipkart.com document.
And I'm going to access place order button by pressing the B keyboard key.
Labeled 1 button. Enter delivery pin code button. Plus button. Place order button.
I'm going to press enter.
Enter shopping cart vertical bar flipkart.com. Place order button. To activate, press enter. Online shopping India vertical.
I'm going to press B again to go to the continue.
Continue button. Flipkart.com secure payment.
So we are able to access continue button. I'm going to do Shift tab to enter my email address or mobile number.
Flipkart.com secure payment. Help center link. To activate, press
I'm
enter.
completely lost. I'm going to do Shift B. I want continue. I'm going to do Shift and tab.
Legacy policy listed terms of use link signing in at
Testing everything, whether so this is how I will go through the entire flow to see if I can search for a product, select a product, look into the details, change any selection if I need to, add it to cart, and then finally check out. This is what one user flow looks like. And in your case, you can have multiple user flows. So you have to work with your product owner and look into the Google Analytics. What is the right path for your consumers? You could come up with 4 or 5 different use cases depending upon the product that you offer. The audit never ends when testing stops. It ends with a clear and accurate reporting. Every issue must answer 4 questions. What's broken? How severe it is? what are the exact steps to reproduce, and how it can be fixed. Dev teams rely on this report to make decisions. This is also why strong audits become the foundation for VPAT and ACR reporting. Good reporting turns testing into actionable steps. If you want to keep building this level of judgment and audit confidence, become a member and join our mission of building an inclusive digital world. Everything you saw in this audit was built on 5 steps we covered in part 1. Without that framework, you are shooting in the dark. With it, this becomes a thorough professional audit. If this walkthrough helped you see how real accessibility audits are done, subscribe so you don't miss the future audit videos where we apply our 5-step framework to new products. This is Param Singh signing off.